Hey friends, my name's Taylor. I'm a pathologist assistant student here at Tulane, and today we're going to learn the arm muscles. You're probably wondering why we're not in the lab, but I found it was easiest to learn the muscles when I was actually putting them into action. So, before we begin, let's start with some general terminology. Supination is when our palms are facing the sky. Think holding a bowl of soup. And pronation is when our palms are facing the floor. I promise this is relevant, just keep it in mind. So the arm muscles, we're gonna have two compartments, the anterior compartment or the front of the arm, and the posterior compartment or the back of the arm. The anterior compartment is going to flex at the elbow and at the shoulder. So starting with the deeper muscles, the Coracobrachialis starts at the coracoid process, and it's going to cross over the shoulder and insert mid-shaft of the humerus. Since it's crossing over the shoulder, it's going to flex at the shoulder. And starting where the Coracobrachialis ends is the Brachialis. The Brachialis is going to start mid-shaft of the humerus and cross over the elbow joint to insert on the ulnar tuberosity. Since it crosses over the elbow joint, it's going to flex at the elbow. The third muscle is the Biceps Brachii. It's called the biceps because it has two heads, a long head, which is lateral. Remember that for lab because it won't look longer than the short head, which is more medial. So the long head is going to start at the supraglenoid tubercle, and the short head is going to start at the coracoid process. And those two muscles are going to cross the shoulder joint, fuse on the humerus, and cross at the elbow joint to insert on the radial tuberosity. Since this muscle is crossing both at the shoulder and the elbow, it's going to work to flex at the shoulder and flex at the elbow. The biceps is a unique muscle because in addition to flexing, it's also going to work as a supinator. So since it inserts on the radial tuberosity, when we're supinated, that's when it's going to flex. But when we're pronated, we're at the wrong joint angle for the biceps brachii to exert that flexor function. So it's going to pull on the radius to flip it back over into a supinated position. The anterior compartment of the arm is going to be innervated by the musculocutaneous nerve, and the blood supply is the brachial artery. So now for the posterior compartment, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see better. The posterior compartment of the arm, or the back of the arm, those muscles are going to work to extend. There are two-ish muscles in the posterior compartment. I say two-ish because depending on what textbook you use, the second muscle can be grouped in with the forearm. So the first muscle is the triceps. It's called the triceps because it has three heads, the long head, the medial head, and the lateral head. The long head is going to start at the infraglenoid tubercle. The medial and lateral heads are going to be named because of their position in relation to the radial groove of the humerus. Those three heads are going to travel down the posterior humerus, fuse, and insert on the olecranon or the back of the elbow. And since they're inserting on the elbow, they're going to work to extend at the elbow. The second muscle is a small triangular muscle that sits on the lateral side of the posterior arm, and that's the Aconeus. So the Aconeus starts at the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, and it inserts on the ulna. So its only function is going to be to help the triceps extend at the elbow. So the posterior compartment is going to be innervated by the radial nerve, and its blood supply is the deep brachial artery. Okay, so here's a little pop quiz. What muscles am I working when I'm doing a supinated curl? How about a pronated curl? If you said biceps, then you're right. And if you said brachialis, then you're also right. So remember that when we are supinated, the biceps brachii and the brachialis are going to work to flex at the elbow. However, if you're pronated, remember the brachialis is going to be flexing because the biceps is at the wrong joint angle. So in order for you to get the best use out of your biceps brachii muscle when you're working out, make sure you're adding a supination motion to your curls. Alright guys, hopefully this helped you, and if you have any questions, make sure to comment. We'll see you next time. Thanks, bye!